And voila, shit fixed. What is cracking? What is cracking with this PBR car? Huh? Joe Schmo, RZ the legend. One of my longtime PBR car diehards, Cynthia. Big Cheese. What is cracking, everybody? I'm going to talk to you about this mental block that I got going on. It's pretty vicious, I got to tell you. Tyler Richmond, it's good to see you too. Like I said, man. Creepy. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm sending mines right back at you. All nothing but love and respect and all that. We're going to wait till this thing builds up a little bit of momentum. I don't anticipate there being any sound issues. I don't anticipate there being any shutdown issues where this live just shuts down or anything like that because this computer just decides it wants to update when it wants to update. None of that stuff, man. So I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get through this live without a problem. Aline, what's cracking? Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. My man, Rodney, I got something coming your way, Rodney. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. It's not something that you wear, but it is something that is a part of this channel. Just to say thank you for all the positive, encouraging words and everything like that. It's like I told you, it's those kind of words. It's when I know I'm making a difference in somebody's life is when I know that this whole thing is worth it, regardless of how many people are here or how many people leave or whatnot. Frisco Strangler, what's cracking? What's cracking, Frankie? Two times. All right, I'm basically just going to run it down like this since there's 25 of you on here. I'll set the bar a little lower these days as far as like how many people are in here. Because then you get a bunch of stragglers that come in and they don't know what we're talking about, what's going on. But the mental block that I got going on right now, and of course, you know, so a lot of people have always called me negative. They've called me a negative person, like whether it be on here or whatever. And, you know, I never really necessarily looked at it as being negative, because if I was really like a totally negative person, I never would have reached the degrees of success that I have reached for myself and that I have accomplished, like things that normal negative people that have been stuck in the criminal revolving door would have never been able to get themselves out of. So I got out of all that. And I'm just a realist, people. I think I said it before, is I'm a realist. I live in the real world, you know? And it's easy to see when you don't take a side on in anybody's like conflict, unless you know that the side is completely legitimate, of which there is no such thing, I might tell you. You could see like where everybody kind of does the hypocrite dance. You know, and it bothers the shit out of me because, I mean, I can't really stand that. I try not to be a hypocrite in anything, but sometimes you just do it without really knowing you're doing it, because everybody has like a favorite. Everybody favors something in this world, you know, over the other. And that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just human nature, and its best. That's like trying to tell a lion not to go out and hunt no more. That's like trying to tell anybody that is living according to their nature not to do it. Trying to tell a scorpion not to sting you, all that stuff. So for me, like I try to live in the complete real world, and I try to call out bullshit on all sides. And of course, you know, I get accused of being many different things, and it really doesn't faze me as much as you guys think. You know, what bothers me is when I'm trying to enjoy my life and live my life off of this camera, out of YouTube, out of social media, and I'm trying to like live my life, spend time with family and all this stuff like that, and people bring a lot of these issues to me that really ain't that important, but they're important to them. That stuff right there, it doesn't really necessarily like hurt me, but it does cause, it just comes to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. So I don't know what it is. I honestly can't tell you. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was, getting sick, or you have to look at all the contributing factors that led up to when they told me I had COVID. All the things that were going on before that. As many of you know, like I work many, many, many hours at my job. And sometimes I get home and I'm just so exhausted that it's late. It's like early in the morning, and I get very little sleep to go back and do all that physically intensive labor once again, to repeat it for 5 days a week. And sometimes I wasn't able to drop videos on here, as you guys know. And this has been going on for months. We've been busy for months, like more so at this time of the year than we've ever been. It's like the volumes are extremely high. The output is off the chain. And what it has created for somebody like me, who's a 47-year-old man, is it's not a spring chicken anymore. I'm not in my 20s. So I can't just work that kind of work for 10, 12, 13, 14, sometimes up to 15 hours, sleep for a few hours, and then be all like chipper and completely mentally fit to do anything else. Sometimes I'll turn this camera on and I know what I want to talk about. I've played it over in my head. I've read it out loud, just walking around my house, speaking about whatever I want to talk about out loud, and then turn the camera on and bam, nothing. It's like a complete mental block that happens. And that was from like fatigue, not really sleeping a righteous routine sleeping schedule. Like when I was in the prison system, you slept the same time every night, woke up in the morning, same time every night for years. And that was your program. And for me, for a lot of years after dealing with that, incarceration, of which becomes created habits for you that you take to the real world, as a lot of people like to call it, but prison is very much the real world, just like any other world. But you take it out here to the streets and you start to develop these same habits that you set yourself in prison, like wearing shower shoes into the shower, maybe wiping up the floor of your bathroom with a towel, all these different things. You bring a lot of that out. So when you start working a job and your life changes and it has a dramatic shift into something totally different, your mind can't keep up with it, and all your routines and your habits and everything start to get all out of whack, and your whole subconscious and everything gets what I like to call it gets that blocker, it gets that glitch. And sometimes when I get into this glitch mode, this shit lasts for a long time. I can't break free from it. When I was writing that book, An Imprisoned Mind, there was a point in time where it should have been done a lot sooner than it was. Then when I dropped it in 2019, it should have been done like way before that, but it wasn't. It wasn't because I went through a mental block, because I was going through everything that I had done to get out of prison and stay out of prison successfully, and to stay away from all the external stressors and everything that I talk about in that book, An Imprisoned Mind. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. But like I said, it's that book is always evolving and is always changing according to the circumstances and the situations that I find myself in as my life continues to move forward. So I get into these little mental blocks. So like I said, I don't know if it was getting over this thing, because a lot of people would be inclined to believe, because there's a lot of people out there that still believe that this COVID is not real. And I've always told you guys from the gate, RZ the legend. Thank you for that. $4.99. Thanks for introducing me to Big Herc 916. He's a solid one. Hey, no problem. It's all good, man. It's all love. And I want to see everybody make it if they can. So like this mental block that pops up in me. Like I want to put these videos out, and like I said, a lot of people think that this COVID, they still think it's not real, but I'm like I said from the beginning that I believe it to be a biological weapon. I believe it was developed in a lab and it was deliberately spread for whatever reason. I mean, only they know. I mean, I still believe that, even though that I've had to experience it. I don't use it for a crutch. I don't use it for sympathy. I'm just letting you know how it's made me feel and what it's done to me. I obviously got a very bad strain, either that or mixed with working all the time, not like sleeping enough, stressing on all the different things that are going on with this channel, what's going on in my own life, what's going on with my family and stuff. A lot of different things happening that you guys don't see behind the scenes. And bam, next thing you know, I got mental block. And then trying to fight with this fatigue. I mean, you guys have no idea like how crazy this fatigue is from this shit. I mean, the lingering effects of it. Down from there. You already see what she's trying to do. She's trying to pull the poster down. I don't know what she's obsessed with it. But yeah. So for the last couple of weeks when I've been able to get up and get into this office, I press play on the camera and nothing comes out. I mean, I just dropped a video on Media Raw, if you didn't see it, about AOC needing therapy because of the January 6th storming of the Capitol. Now, I just read that article in the news feed. And when I was completely engaged in that article, I sat down and turned on the camera, pressed record, and I just went. And then I edited it out as I went, but I was able to do that video like that. But at some point in time, I got to start figuring out like more of what I want to talk about on this channel, because going through my analytics and everything like that, drop a video about Mickey Cohen. Not really too many people have an interest in it. I think people are more looking for this wild and crazy penitentiary stuff that, I mean, I just, for the life of me, can't understand, because it's like you hear it on all these other channels. It's like you can only tell the same story so many times before it becomes just a lot of shit I can't talk about too, because of car politics and everything like that. So my hands are tied with that, but I have to start to figure out just exactly what it is that I'm going to talk about on this channel. I mean, I can use my real world experience from what I've seen in there, and I could just press play and I could just run those stories down with you because I lived them. But when I'm trying to do these documentaries and type of shit, when I'm trying to do shit in that way, for some reason, man, I got this really bad block. Well, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, guys. Mental block going on. Yes, there's a lot. I have a whole list of episodes that I want to drop, and before I am able to like get them up and running and everything, like I got to take notes. I got to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. I did this one about AOC. W. Harrison, thank you for the $20. Your ability to enforce the line is awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. It takes a lot of work, man. Howard Cook, smoking weed helps mental blocks. Sure it does. Justin Bowles, when you're released on parole, you don't get your Fourth Amendment right back until you're off parole or probation. Yeah. PM says that I've been smoking the pookie. You see what I mean, guys? You see what I'm saying? Right? Motherfucker gets sick. Like, real sick. Motherfucker has a lot of other issues going on behind the scenes that you guys don't talk about, because when I try to bring this stuff out to you, like, a lot of people get turned off from it. Like, they don't want to hear about what's going on in my daily life behind the scenes. Right off the rip, somebody has to automatically throw out there that I'm some kind of a junkie or a crackhead or a twacker or something like that. Why can't it just be that I'm experiencing like a shift in my life, or I'm going through some shit? Why can't it be like that? You know? I mean, things never come easy to Big JD with this channel, with my nonprofit that I had out there, with trying to be a criminal justice reform activist and all that shit. Nothing ever comes easy. Everybody has constantly come at me with this negativity ever since the beginning. Way before I started roasting people and doing all that shit, I was on Death's channel. And there's been negative people surrounding this channel ever since the jump. So I don't want to hear nobody say that it's because of talking about the trolls, or it's because of biting into all the negativity and everything. There's been negativity surrounding this channel since before this channel started roasting and talking shit. This has been going on. Now you got somebody in here calling me a twacker. That's just fucking real great. But hey, you know, whatever. Like I said, I've told you guys before, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you say about me. It's when you decide to take that shit to people off of this channel is when that kind of like rubs me wrong. Howard Cook, it basically goes like this. Let me explain this to you guys in full detail. Let me explain this to you guys in full detail. When or if somebody decides to get high, that really ain't none of my business. If I was high as a fucking kite right now, if I was higher than giraffe pussy right now, what is it really any of your business, for reals? If I am, or if I am, or I'm not. You know, why do so many people on YouTube make it a point to like invade people's personal lives that create this content? I mean, I just don't get it, you know? It's like, if I'm not ripping anybody off on here, if I'm not like leading anybody astray, I'm not on here like creating a product that doesn't work or something like that, well then yeah, come at me, you know what I mean? But whatever I do in my private life, whatever it is, whatever it involves, really ain't none of nobody's business on here. Personally, I mean, don't you guys agree? It's none of nobody's business. So, Prada, JD, you get very defensive when somebody says you have been doing drugs lately, because it's true. Whenever you confront a drug addict and their lie and get very emotional about it to manipulate you. Okay. Your opinion is well received, my friend, but your opinion is well wrong. I don't think you've been with this channel long, Prada. If you've been with this channel long, you would know that people have been accusing me of doing drugs since way back, man. Way back when I was on probation and getting tested by the federal courts. People were accusing me of getting high and being dope sick and everything like that back then. When I had my surgery and all that shit, people were saying that I was on heroin. I was all dope sick and all that stuff, man. You haven't been around the channel long enough to know that at some point in time, you just get sick and tired of hearing the same negativity because it becomes a played out ass record that you just don't want to hear anymore. And sometimes you got to address it. But where you at now, Prada? I don't hear you. I don't hear you saying nothing. But it is like that, people. Jesse Moore, when you put yourself on the internet, you have to expect everything, and that's the reality. That's true. That's true. But again, it's like I said, I seem to be the one that is under like the most scrutiny out of all these fucking channels. You know what I mean? Here you got this guy on here talking about Wes Watson has me running laps. Well, before Wes Watson decides to make me start running laps, maybe Wes Watson should learn how to keep a wife. There's a little positive feedback from Mr. Watson. Maybe he should learn how to keep a wife or to keep an old lady, because he can't seem to hold on to that. You know, all this positive personal power and everything that he's got going on, supposedly, you know, all this rehashed bullshit he's learned from everybody else. And he don't practice what he preaches, like he doesn't know how to keep a woman in his life. You know, something that is so simple like that, keeping a woman. If you have a woman and you know, you can't keep her, then the problem is you. Because if you already attracted this woman to your world and you can't keep her, well, you're doing something wrong, pal. And what he's doing wrong is he's a narcissistic control freak that wants to control everybody and everything around him. And sometimes, in reference to his wife, or his ex-wife now, she wasn't having it. And she told him just exactly where to go fuck himself and left. So yeah. Got some Wessy sissies in here trying to come at me with the fake Watson. Well, Howard Cook, you know, Wes Watson is just another boob tuber, part of the boob tube brigade. You know, they're like the celebrity elite power structure for dummies. They're the bottom of the totem pole. Jeff Chambers, thank you for that $10. What else we got? Rodney, thank you for that $10. You guys are great, man. Yeah, but that's what it is, man. I'm always gonna come at you with that real shit. I'm always gonna tell you exactly how I feel about these boob tubers. You know, these Wes Fakeson and 1090 fake and all that. Wild Boy KK, I seriously doubt any of that was going on in his world, because unless, of course, he was on the S&Y yard, there is no busting cheeks in the California prison GP system. Unless you're in certain cars. Like if you're in certain black cars that are in the GP side of the main line of the California Department of Corruptions, then yeah, there's some butt piracy going on over there. But if you're a sureño, you're a wood like Wes is, no, there ain't none of that going on. And if you're caught doing that, they're gonna smash your ass, stab your ass, they're gonna get rid of you real fast. Used to be a thing back in, like, you know, the 80s and 70s, that it was okay to flip and flop and make tortillas and do everything else that people were doing with the punk or with the sweet boy or the big butt boy or the swisher or whatever they call them. But with that comes a lot of problems, because if you get one of them and they're running around playing around with 2 or 3 different guys, it causes a lot of conflict, of course. You know, some of these dudes tend to start looking at the sweet boys as if that's their wife on that yard. And then they want to go and kill somebody when somebody tries to take her from them. Yeah. Yep, Trump America, that's real talk. The sex play. You know? When I was in the feds, man, people would do a lot of that sex playing. A lot of the sex playing. I think I'm going to make a video about that, about the difference that I've seen in sex playing, that it's not allowed in the state, but then when you get to the feds and somebody sex playing you like real tough type of sex play, then next thing you know, you're just like, your mind's blown. You're like, what the fuck was just said to me? What just happened to me right now? Yes, indeed. I love the comments that you're rushing at me. Wild Boy KK, I appreciate that. Glad I was able to clear that up for you. About that man who has a lot of positive feedback for all of you, and if you don't follow it, you're a man boobs, you're a bitch made man boobs. But this dude has a lot of personal conflict and shit going on that, like I said, man, he lost his wife and that fucked him up. He's still talking about it to this day on his channel, from what I'm told. Well, he can't just admit the fact that he fucked up, you know, that he fucked up. Like, it wasn't her, it was him. Because like I told you, man, you guys would be surprised who I talk to. People that just pop up into my feed out of nowhere. It gets to the point that sometimes I'm thinking I'm being trolled with these profiles, but yeah, they're real. They're real people. Elspeth Smed, do you recognize me? I can't really see your picture because it's so small on here. Like, I can't even blow these pictures up. No, Elspeth Smed, I don't recognize you. Who are you? Help me out. Outlaw Barber was cracking. Feeling better to a certain degree. It's just, like I said, fighting this fatigue, man, is that's the big shit. It's me, Ace. Oh, what's good, Ace? What's cracking? You been under attack? That's why you got a new profile? I will never change. I will never change my profiles or shut down my IG or shut down my Facebook or anything like that for these fucking low self-esteem lightweights that run around in social media and act tough. Just won't do it. Max Settings, thank you for the $5. Elspeth Smed, life is awful for me at the moment. Well, do elaborate. If you need somebody to talk to, I don't know, get at me in a DM on Instagram. We'll work through it. We'll figure out how to get you out of the situation that you're in. Mighty Mouse is Chester, last name Lester. You know, I heard people are saying that Mighty Mouse is a rat on top of being a diaper sniper. Don't know if that's true or not. I haven't read any paperwork to say that any government website or anything legitimate that says he is. Don't know if it's true or not. I'm always going to be the guy, everyone. That I'll be fair even with these people that I don't really like. I'll be fair with them every day of the week. I don't know, give you a perfect example of how true that is. I don't know if any of you remember when I did a video about 1090 Jake. Do any of you guys remember when I did a video about 1090 Jake? Anybody? RZ the Legend, thank you for the $4.99. Have you seen someone get a light sentence for something small, but in the process of trying to survive prison life, jacked up their time to decades? Oh, yeah, we see that all the time. All the time, man. You know, there's an old saying that a guy goes in there as a nickel and dime peddler, or a guy goes in as a car thief, comes out a mass murderer. Yeah, prison is a very mental and stressful environment, to the point to where you going into that place, it's going to change you. It's just like going into combat. It's like all them troops that went to Vietnam. You know, they went to Vietnam and they came out much different. Hell's best, man. Thank you for the $14.99. Get at me on Instagram when this is over with. All right, so some of you remember the video I did on 1090 Jake. Some of you don't remember. All right, so I did a video about 1090 Jake because he was under a lot of fire. He was he was under a lot of pressure very early on in the beginning of his YouTube career, because he started his YouTube channel a little bit before mine, and the more he started to get out there, the more his channel started to blow up, because he blew up to a certain amount of subscribers kind of fast, and then he kind of like went stagnant because he was under attack from like Independent TV and all these other trolls. I mean, they were on him, like kind of in a similar way of what's going on here on this channel, but only not even as close or as bad as what your boy has been through right here. But nonetheless, they were on his ass. They were calling him a wigger. They were calling him this. They were calling him that. And the only thing that I said, like, really was not so much of saying that 1090 was real or if he was fake or if he was anything like that. But what I said is, there's a lot of people that grew up in these neighborhoods. You could have grown up around just straight, puro Chicanos, and you could be black. Like Neil Azad over there. You could be black like him, grow up around a bunch of Chicanos and everything like that, and go to the prison system and roll with the homies, roll with the double S like that, like he says. I mean, you could be white and grow up in a Chicano neighborhood. You could be white and grow up in a black neighborhood. As a matter of fact, way back in the 80s, I met an OG from rolling 60s out on the streets, and his name was JC. They called him Slaughterhouse. We're talking, this is like 1988. And this dude is an older cat, been to prison, has tattoos, big dude, respected, and everybody knew who he was. Stone Cold White, member of the Rolling 60s gang from way back then. You get a lot of people that grow up in these environments, and they naturally just adapt to their environment, and they change. Like, look at me. I mean, I've been out of like Southeast LA for a long time, and I've been up in the federal prison system. And in the federal prison system, you get so many people from so many different parts of the country, like Sureños that are from Kansas City, all over the place. People talk different. I lost a lot of the lingo and everything that I use every day just for being out here and being around different people. You start to, it's just a given, man. You're going to start falling in with your environment. People just do that all the time. So if 1090's fake really doesn't matter, but this whole calling him a wigger thing, calling people like him a race traitor and stuff, I mean, they say that same shit to me. And personally, I'm not a race traitor to anything because I'm a member of the human race. And that's how I put it, where I don't get into all this. I don't focus and constantly dwell on skin color and race all day long like a lot of people do these days. It's just a waste of my time, you know what I mean? So I basically, said, like, leave Jake alone, man. If he's, if he runs with blacks, he runs with blacks. That's his choice. Whether he's real or not, I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't personally like the guy. I don't think he's the real deal. I've learned a lot of things about him since from people that were with him, and I just keep it at that. Somebody said something about well, but just came over here and I couldn't help but to read Dopey Alvarez's comment talking about Wes. Wes ignores the negative comments. But does he really ignore the negative comments? Let me ask you guys this. Does Wes really ignore the negative comments on his channel? Does he have like a whole army of trolls that are coming at him day in and day out, night after night, coming after his family and doing all that stuff like that? Let me ask you guys that question right there. So you have to understand that there's like several ways that you can like deal with people. And there's several different things that some of these bigger channels have, and they've always had since the beginning. Wes is a perfect example of that, is they have a lot of handlers around him. You know, Wes has got several handlers around him that drop his videos, that run his content, that run his social media. Like he virtually has like zero control over any of these things that he does. He lets everybody else do it for him. If you were to send a message to Wes Watson on IG, chances are you're not even talking to Wes Watson. It's like the Santa Claus effect, I like to call it. When you're a little kid, you're wondering how Santa Claus was just in the Boynton Park Mall, and the next thing you know, you see him down there at the Whitmore Mall or whatever. How did he get from one place to the next in just a couple of hours? When you're a kid, you don't realize that there's more than one Santa because Santa's not real. So Wes has a whole bunch of handlers that basically handle all his stuff for him. So yeah, he's not going to respond to the trolls, or he's not going to respond to negative comments because he doesn't even read his own comments. When have you ever seen him answer a single comment in any of his videos? Because I'll tell you guys this. I will tell you guys this. I have all kinds of screenshots of DMs where people were trying to talk to Wes in DMs back when he was running his IG. And, he'd blow up at him all the time. Call him bitches and punks and all that shit. So, yeah, it's not really, he don't respond to negative comments. It's just he don't read or they're not around him because he's got all his handlers and his gatekeepers and everything keeping him safe. Oh, Justin Larson. I've talked to quite a few big channels, and I've talked to quite a few YouTubers that have been longtime YouTubers that have been considered to be the most trolled. And I got to tell you, the kind of trolling that comes in my direction is a whole different animal than what most of these people get. But I am definitely probably one of the most hated YouTubers that there is. That's real talk. All right, what do we got here? Glad I can clear that up and explain to you guys about that. And also, Justin Larson, Wes didn't have to tell me about his YouTube business. It's like I told you, there's people in his inner circle that I talk to on the low. And you guys don't know about this, but I hear a lot of stuff that goes on in Westland, Westworld. That it'd probably blow his fucking mind that I even know. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Get at me on the show, bro. Oh, yeah, we're going to do that. Hey, we're going to do that, man. Like I said, I haven't been completely up on my normal self as far as mentally is concerned to run an interview. And for those of you guys that I'm looking for yeah, guys, I don't need moderators anymore. That moderation stuff gets blown out of proportion. All right, Rancho Chava, thank you for that $4.99. Ascending prayer, what's up, PBR Car? Glad to be here. Well, glad that you're a longtime supporter of this channel and the new one Media raw. Cisco Kid, you got that right. White on the outside, brown on the end. It's like a colorless M&M, only with caramel. Wild Boy KK, Coolio the rapper exposed him, and Cholo Trucker versus Gunner. Your opinion? You know, I haven't really taken an opinion on the Cholo Trucker Gunner fight, but I can tell you this much. I just hope they don't get themselves in trouble if they try to, you know, sell tickets to this event without going through the boxing commission or whatever state that they're in. Because the only state that you could do that in is Virginia. If you guys don't know this, like you can, and there's maybe a couple other states that I'm not aware of, but the only state that I know of right now, let me clear that up and change it to this. The only state that I'm aware of where you can set up a boxing ring in your backyard and have people duke it out and put the camera on is Virginia. But most of these other states, like when I was in the middle of mine, when I was trying to set mine up, the problem that I was having was I couldn't go to any like gym and do this fight and have the cameras and everything on it because they said that I had to go through the boxing commission. I had to do all these things. You could look it up if you don't believe me. I mean, a lot of people just don't take my word for it that I did everything in my power to push this event, but nobody who had a gym would allow me to do it at their gym if there was going to be cameras and everything on it, unless, of course, you're just with the camera phone and we're sparring in there with full gear on and we're sparring, just light sparring for like a round or something like that. Not no righteous straight up event fight where you ain't got no headgear on and you're beating each other half to death like on street beefs. It's you can't do that because there's been a lot of things that have happened. Some dude at a church event in Oklahoma had died when he did an exhibition thing for the church. He boxed somebody and he got hit good and went down and never got back up again. So Oklahoma changed a lot of its rules, and many other states follow suit with that as well. You can't advertise it. You can't sell tickets to the event unless you're going through the boxing commission and you're set up with your taxes and all this other stuff. They just won't let you do it. You just find yourself caught up in some legal bullshit that you don't want to be in. You know what I mean? Yeah, sending prayer. Yeah, it's Virginia is one of the main ones for it. So Poncho, there you go. There's the cat you were talking about. I think somebody even got on here and said that I killed my cat. somebody accused me because they ain't seen it in a while. Where's the cat? Cat's fine. Yeah, Rodney, it's not only that, my friend, it's there's just been a whole mess of negative keyboard warrior type people that have been coming around this channel since this channel started. They've been here. They don't like what I say about their Hollywood celebrities. They don't like what I have to say about their YouTube crush or their YouTube daddies or mommies. They don't like what I have to say about politics. You know, I mean, I've been called a fucking a socialist, Bernie supporter to a Trump supporter. It's like, make up your mind. I've been called a racist and a race traitor. These people don't know what kind of a label to put on me, and that's what bothers people the most, guys. The fact that these people can't figure out how to put a label on me, and the fact that their shit doesn't bother me in the least. They have to go out and think outside the box and start attacking people's family and doing all that stuff. Like I said, man, there has been negativity and negative people surrounding this channel since the beginning because people can't handle the truth. They don't like the real. They want all this Hollywood watered down bullshit, or these people that are telling these stories that are just so outlandish. Like I watch some of these newer channels that are blowing up. There's a couple of new channels out there that are blowing up. And I watch some of their content, and their take on things is so like elementary and ignorant in a lot of ways. It's entertaining. You know, if you're a simple-minded, typical American that you know, didn't really benefit from the education system and couldn't really learn much when you were in it. You got to wonder why the U.S. is like even behind some third world countries when it comes to education. It's the truth. You know, you got some real dumb as a box of rocks motherfuckers in this country that are gullible as shit, believe everything that they're told, and really have no idea about like history or anything like that. Like they have no clue. But some of these people, like they get on here and they'll talk about, let's say, for example, somebody will start talking about the Aryan Brotherhood, right? Don't have a fucking clue about what they're talking about when it comes to the Aryan Brotherhood, especially if they're not from California. Don't have a clue. I mean, I could do a whole video on how the Aryan Brotherhood started, why it started, where they got the name from, why they took that name, you know, all that shit. It has nothing to do with them being a racist organization because it's not a racist organization. They took that name because it pisses people off. And they're just like in a large degree, a lot of the original ones have a lot of the biker 1%er mindset. And you have to look at like motorcycle clubs like the Mongols or Hell's Angels or the Vagos or something like that. You'll see them wearing like a lot of Nazi pendants and stuff like that. And people think that they're white supremacists. It's not. It's just that those symbols piss people off and they're all about fuck the world. So I just look around and see these different channels. Matthew, man, I am basically speaking in general. Several channels out there have attempted to talk about the Aryan Brotherhood, and they've painted them in a light that's insinuating that it's a racist, white supremacist organization, and it's not. It's not that. Nothing to do with white supremacy whatsoever. Wild Boy KK, Trump supporters, you mean? Or Chump supporters? Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't really like. There's a lot of let me just tell you this, brother. There's a lot of people on both sides of the political aisle that are chumps. A lot of them. Like I said, I mean, for a lot of you that have been with me on Facebook and shit, you would have seen that I said it right there in a criminal justice reform group. Is I said that I don't trust Trump. I don't know if I'm ready to trust him yet. I mean, this is years ago, and like I don't know if I'm ready to trust him. And basically, I'm not obligated to throw any support behind him. I'm not a Republican, not a Democrat, not any of those things. You know, these political parties are the problem. They have basically turned all of you against each other, to where people would say Trump supporters and everybody would say libtards on the other side and all that stuff like that. Yeah. Libertarian for me as well, but not a member of the Libertarian Party. I'm just a libertarian thinker. And Pancho, what's up with Kilo Perez? He's still doing his thing. He's still out there trying to push his music. He never turned himself in or anything like that. Justin Bowles, the Democrat Party is the party of the Nazis. I don't know if you could say it's the party of the Nazis, bro. You can say that it was the slavery party. I mean, that the founding of the Democratic Party was to keep slavery intact. So it's pretty much what made it. Hegelian dialect. Big BB 416, yeah. I honestly believe, and I said this, I made mention of it on Media Raw. I do believe that government nowadays is outdated. It's just as outdated as having a king or a queen or an emperor or something like that, or a warlord or a war chief or whatnot. Government is pretty outdated when you have the private sector that's so basically what's creating everything. I mean, everything that the government has, they purchase it from outside vendors. That's right, Outlaw Barber. The government wants its cake, wants its slice of the pie. Can you be a liberal anarchist? Isn't that an oxymoron? No, it's not. It actually exists. What's cracking, Whack Deuce? How you like in Oklahoma? Yeah, to be liberal doesn't mean that you're a Democrat. Liberal is not in the United States. It's not a party. Liberal in the United States just means that, you know, you are more focused on social issues than you are on economic issues. That's pretty much what liberal it only entails. Oh, I thought you were living out here, Wag Deuce. You know, I mean, you never came to see me or nothing. Well, then again, I got sick. Yeah, everybody's leaving California, Riverside. That's for sure. Cisco Kid, I'm born ready, man. I can't wait till they let us know what's up with these UFOs, if they're even going to tell us anything. Like I said, you know, I will always be fair, as I told you, with everything that I do. You know what I mean? I will always be fair. And that's where people started calling me a Trump supporter, because, you know, I point out the good shit that Trump did. I'll point out the bad shit that he did too. But the one thing that he did that no other president has ever done, and you guys got to agree with me on this, is he's the only one that made it an executive order to disclose all this UFO shit. Like, he's the only president that's done that. All the rest of them have lied, have hidden the truth, have done all these things. But Trump said that you have a deadline to come out with this shit. He put it in the COVID bill. And yeah. So we're going to see what that entails. But like I said, you got the secretive eluding everybody administration you got now with Corn Pop and Camel Joe, Kamala. So they might, who knows, man, they might downplay it, or it might be something that big giant nothing burger. No, Cisco Kid, I haven't seen that, but I know that Josh believes in UFOs and everything. I seen one too. I did a video about it early in when this channel started. I did a video about fucking. I mean, this UFO was like, it was that triangle one that you hear about that was down there in the southern part of California and in Arizona, AZ. This thing was trip. You get viewed as the same as Tim Pool. Follow truth. And you know, Tim Pool, I'm not really necessarily sure if Tim Pool is if he's a Republican or not. But I want to say that he's also libertarian. He's not a Republican or a Democrat. He might be a Republican. But yeah, I mean, Tim Pool used to be a hardcore Bernie supporter, and you know, he was all up into that, you know, Occupy Wall Street and all that stuff, and he's just another guy that, you know, changed sides, like Candace Owens. Hey, Anthony Davis, Tim Pool has a lot of haters, but I'm telling you, bro, when I talked to a couple of his people, because I was trying to do a collab, I was trying to like get on his show or interview him on this or something like that, but he's, you know, way bigger than me. It's way bigger than like probably 10 of these channels put together. One of his people that is like one of his handlers and was talking to me about a lot of the hate mail and hate that Tim Pool gets. And then when I basically exchange the information on all the shit that I get, it fucking blew their mind, man. It blew their mind that people were coming at this channel in the fashion that they were, and people out there that Tim Pool is a world recognized name and all over social media and all through like all this stuff, and conservative outlets and these news channels like CNN and all them have heard of him by name and have talked to him and everything, that he doesn't get the kind of shit that I get as far as when you talk about trolls. Like I got some people on here, guys, I got to tell you. I mean, these people like obviously want me to bend them over and smash their fucking beans, like thrust my penis all the way inside of them until I'm like stabbing them in the heart. That's how obsessed these people are with this channel. Obsessed with it. Obsessed with it. Like you gotta wonder, like, what the fuck? If people are going harder on you than somebody like Tim Pool or Ben Shapiro, then one of two things is happening. Either you got somebody who has a sexual crush on you and you didn't answer their advancements, so now they're all in their little pussy and they're on here constantly tormenting everybody, or this person is paid to troll you, they're paid to annoy you, or this person is just upset because you hurt their little feelers about their daddy, their YouTube crush, or their daddy, some fake phony ass lame that's a boob tuber. You called bullshit on them, and now they're upset and they're never going to let you forget about it until the day you either die or decide that you're going to hopefully stop being a YouTuber. But that's not going to happen because I'm always going to be here. So they're like wasting their time, really. You guys don't have any clue as to how far these lames have gone, you know? Look at them. Look at them on here. Look at the kind of shit that they say. Look at the kind of shit that they say. You know? Tim Pool and his people are like, God damn, man, I've never seen anything like that. I'm like, yeah, this person that's on my channel, like he obviously came at me. He slid into my DM at some point in time. He asked me if he could suck my dick. You know, he asked me if he can fucking like take it all the way down to the pelvic bone, down his throat, you know? And when I told him, nah, man, you know, not interested, you're not my type, because I didn't want to butt fuck this guy has now become like a jealous ex-girlfriend that is on this channel, that is constantly DMing me, that is all up in my mix, day in and day out. For months and months and months and months, these people have been on me, you know? And I got to tell you, like people say, don't address it and don't talk about it, but you got to call out this kind of derangement. Don't you have to talk about it and make fun of it? I mean, of what these people like do, what they do, what they say, you know what I mean? It's funny. I mean, you got to make fun of them because this person that's on this channel, Like, seriously, is butthurt over something. Something to the point to where he's been here, or she, because we kind of speculate that it might be, somebody named KK might be involved in it somehow, but who's a woman, who's all in her feelers, who's a sassy, savvy, savage fan. She's been all up in the JD hate train as well over the last several months. My boy Dopey knows all about KK, doesn't he? If he's still on here. But KK went and completely debriefed over there at Crazy Stories and like gave Crazy Stories all kinds of information, personal information about me. So yeah, you'd be surprised, guys, at this little group of weirdos. Pierced from within, yeah, she was cool. But then she started rubbing a lot of people on this channel, like all my administrators, she was rubbing them the wrong way with a lot of stuff that she was doing on this channel. She was basically on here campaigning for Savage Studios. When anybody said anything negative about Savage in the comments, she would automatically go on the attack and become his apologist. So, and I didn't even see that because, like I said, I mean, there's so many comments on here that I don't see all of them, right? Like, you guys could be asking me a question and get pissed off that I don't answer it, but it's it got to the point to where, you know, I told her stop doing that or don't do that. And it was almost like she was trying to brainwash me to the dark side, to the seat sniffer side, to the debriefing side of things when it comes to that guy or any of the rest of them that are out there, these boob tubers. And I wasn't having it because you can't make Big JD sell out to nothing or nobody. I'm not selling out to entertainment. I'm not selling out to the Hollywood celebrity elite power structure, fist fucking blood drinking weirdos. I'm not selling out to the government. I'm not selling out to anybody. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to keep it real around this camp. You know, somebody's got to do the real shit. Somebody's got to call the real bullshit. Somebody has to be the antagonist in the middle of all this. Because you're being fed a whole bunch of bullshit and misinformation in a lot of different ways. And not only that, but you're being misled. I don't really see any positive like reinforcement or any tools or anything to help you deal with this shit and to maneuver through all the bullshit. I don't see any of that coming out of any of these channels. I don't see any of them like these big channels. I don't see them like donating their time and going out there and like helping somebody stay right or get off of drugs or get out of the funk that they're in. Like you seen when I was talking to my boy Ace on here, or the homie Ace on here, that I said, get at me in a DM. And if I have to, if somebody has a crisis, if I'm mentally up to it, I'm not completely drained out and fatigued, I'll sit there and I will go through it with you. I try to help people as much as I can. I mean, I can't really get to everybody all the time. But the one thing is I don't hear about any of these boob tubers and stuff out there. That, you know, everybody says that they're positive people. I don't hear about any of them doing anything for these kids that are just running around stuck on stupid and doing what they're doing. I don't hear about them doing anything that is like helping the community or you know, solving any kind of problems or nothing like that. And I do this shit all the time. I don't get on here and get into my grandiosity and my, you know, all that shit, putting up a front and showing you guys what I do. But I mean, I've helped a lot. I've helped a lot of people, man, like on the low. You'd be surprised. Like I said, man, when you become a YouTube personality or a social media face that a lot of people see, You're not just on here sharing your pictures from your fishing trip down to the river or nothing, or the time you were in Cancun or something like that, and it's just you and your office buddies or whatnot. But when you are a face on YouTube or on social media, you bring out all the best and all the worst of everybody that's around you. It's just a given. You have like a huge responsibility that comes with this. Being this YouTube personality, you have a huge responsibility that is like placed upon you. You can mislead a bunch of people. You can give them a bunch of piss poor information or lies or something like that. You can hurt people, like I said, with these fitness, these physical fitness, these workout life coaches that are everywhere that you see now. You notice the ones that are actually have been to school for it, the ones that have actually trained to be that, they're not like completely breaking you down to where you're a man with like quadruple bypass surgery. You have diabetes, high blood pressure. You have a prosthetic leg. And this person's calling you a fat bitch because you can't do 15 push-ups as fast as he wants you to do them. That kind of drill sergeant shit or whatever it may be. But some of these, there are trainers that are out there that are like that. We're not talking about who you think in particular. There's other ones that are out there that are the same way. And you have to be careful of that because that dude can collapse and have a fucking heart attack on your ass. It can happen. You have to work through people. You can't be like soft with them when you're training them, but at the same time, you can't be like fucking gunnery Sergeant Hartman on their ass. You just gotta be like patient. Anthony Spinella, thank you. Miss Yee, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I try to help everybody as much as I can. Everything's all good. Justin Larson, you're a fat bitch. Yeah, well, I'm a fat bitch. You've been on this channel now bitching and whining about shit for months. So who's really the bitch here, Justin? Who's really the bitch? Let me ask all of yous out there. Is this not Prison Break Raw, Big JD as the co-host and creator of it and all? If you're on here calling me a fat bitch and you're on here sniffing my seat, month after month after month, you're sniffing around. Who's really the bitch? Because the one thing that I can promise all of you, you will never see me on any of these other channels leaving any kind of comments, negative or trash talking any of them. I don't care if it's Wes. I don't care if it's Seat Sniffer. I don't care if it's 1090 Fake, Ryan Phony Baloney, Shitlocks, Christina Randall, or the self-proclaimed biggest female drug dealer in the country, Jessica Kent. I don't care who they are. I don't even watch their shit. I find no compelling reason to watch any of these people's channels for any reason. I mean, not even if I was literally sitting in the waiting room at a proctology appointment would I have any need to ever. I would rather read the Mademoiselle magazine that's outdated by 15 years than to watch these people's channels. That's just real talk. I have no interest in any of these people or their channels. No interest in them. They do nothing for me at all. They don't bring me any joy. They don't bring me any laughter. Ain't none of them really got a fucking sense of humor that I find to be fascinating anyway. I gravitate more towards the darker sense of humor of people. But none of these people are like interesting to me. But they're interesting to so many of you. But they're not interesting to me. And it's not because I'm a hater or anything like that. It's just I don't find them interesting. It's as simple as hell. I don't find them interesting. If I don't find them interesting, then I ain't gonna watch them. But people like you just seen it. Like you just seen it. Like these people of like the same names and the same people have been calling me man boobs and all that shit, fat bitch and all that, have been on this channel with this negativity since the beginning. Since way back. You know? So it's like, that's why I talk about that with you guys, because that's the real world. You know? While these people try to live in this crimsons and clovers, Rose Lynn's life, oh, pay no attention to all these people and all that, but that's really bullshit. Trust me. Sounds good, but it's bullshit. You can't completely shut this down and just totally ignore it when you got somebody that's been stalking you for so long and they get up on here and sniff your seat and want to take your penis down their throat all the way to the pelvic bone, balls and all, these people obviously want to swallow me, and they're on here and they do this, you know? And I call shit like I see it. I actually research stuff. I actually know quite a bit about history and everything. I could tell you this. There's a lot of people that are in YouTube that like try to talk about this prison stuff and all that. It doesn't matter what state that they're coming from. You know, it really is a bunch of ignorance. And it's a bunch of fluff and stuff like that just to keep you watching. Of course, they're going to put a perfect 10 on a lot of these stories. They're going to make them more romantic and more Hollywood than what they probably actually really were. Because like I try to tell you about like the real shit when it comes to what does it feel like to stab somebody? And is it really easy to stab somebody? You got a fucking piece in your hand. You got a bone crusher. You got a pick, an ice pick in your hand, something like that. You're going at your target. And all your best thinking and everything. And you try to hit him and you miss. Or it barely even punctures through the skin, or you don't push it through hard enough. Or whatever the case may be, or you hit a rib bone, whatever the deal is. Next thing you know, this dude turns around on you and he just starts whooping the dog shit out of you, or he pulls his own out and he actually knows how to use it. He starts stabbing you. I've seen that several times. Fist fights and everything like that are on a prison yard. You turn on Hollywood and it's like punches are being thrown, right? And everybody's landing. You look at a real prison fight, most people don't know how to fight. Most people cannot fist fight to save their lives, right? I've seen so many fights in prison where, you know, you got the dude, he's all like shadow boxing. Yeah, man, if any of these fools come at me, man, I got him. Gets out there and he struts his stuff in a fight, and he's sloppy as fuck. He's all left feet or he's all right feet, and he's got no real anything except for that wild punch that you see that everybody throws. That's when you know they can't fight. But every now and then you'll see one that can fight. Every now and then you'll see somebody that really has got those hands. I've seen people that were martial artists. I'm a black belt. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. They get out there in the yard and like halfway through that roundhouse kick, like 5 people done fucking stabbed them already. You know? That fast. But it's just like that. Maybe so, DC. Maybe so. Or maybe not. Maybe DC. Maybe there's a reason why I'm a white boy that functioned in a Chicano environment. They went through some jails where white boys were straight getting humiliated and impregnated and fucking confiscated and extorted and everything else. I made it through all that in one piece. Went through the California system and the Fed system. Being a solid dude with no debriefing, no running off the yard. Something could be said about that. But like I said, you guys don't see the real. A lot of you are just, You're caught up in the you're caught up in the dog and pony show, and it's hard to break you free from that, from your optical illusion that you've been hypnotized by. It's really sad that so many of you are weak-minded like this, and you're probably one of them, DC. I don't know. I would have to assume that you went about as far as the 8th grade and decided to drop out, and you probably still think that Jimmy Carter's the president. Oh, wait a minute. No, the media tells you Orange Man bad, so you were on that. Now you think I think you're also saying that that maybe Joe Biden's like the best president you've ever seen. I don't know. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, DC, I'm not taking it hard, man. Why do you people keep saying that I get in my feelings with this? Can we not do that no longer? I don't get in my feelings, DC. I just talk shit. That's what I do. I talk shit. I'm arrogant. I'm sarcastic. I'm a smart ass. My mom used to say that I was rude, crude, and socially unacceptable. I just talk a lot of shit, DC. That's all. I ain't taking it personal. I don't take any of this personal on here. Unless, of course, like I said, you went to a whole different degree of trying to show your affection for me by doing stuff and manufacturing or conjuring up in the physical world. That's something different. I know, Rodney. Nah, DC, don't. Come on, man. Can I really say that with you guys, that I don't take any of this shit? Like, I don't get in my feelings about none of this. I just talk shit. A lot of you guys subscribe to this channel because I talk shit. And when I stopped talking shit and tried to become this nice guy YouTuber for a minute there, for a second, when I went through that little spell, that I lost a lot of subscribers out of that. Yeah, Cody Douglas, Satricon. Just talk shit. That's all. Yeah, where are you, DC? I want to make sure that you receive that. We will go back and forth on here sometimes. Chris Weston, Big JD, turn me on the big screen so I can start talking a bunch of shit and making everybody laugh. We get a lot of good laughs on these lives, don't we, guys? We get a lot of good laughs, man. We keep you entertained. Sunset Roses, the orange cat does not have a name. I just call her Little Cat. That's all I call her. I see that you still in here, DC. Come on, man. Tell me you heard it. Tell me that you get it. You understand. I'm just an arrogant, sarcastic prick that likes to push buttons. That's what makes PBR raw. That's what makes Prison Break raw. That's what makes it raw. Rodney, I'm so not overweight. I'm so not overweight. And I'm still called a fat man boobs bitch. Why you big mad? I'm not big mad. I just explained this to you, bro. It's my personality trait. I'm arrogant. I'm sarcastic. I'm animated. I'm passionate about what I speak about. I'm in a lot of ways, like, I over dramatize and overplay things and put them out there, and it's just the kind of person that I am. Kind of person that everybody on here knows this. Everybody on here knows that, you start coming at me with some shit that I'm probably gonna. Yeah, Chris Weston, PBR car may be EOP, enhanced outpatient. We may all be a bunch of nutcases on here, DC. This might be some kind of psychological therapy for all of us, and you just somehow got sucked into it. Resno Bulldog was cracking, my man. Was cracking. Yeah, we all here just sitting around a round table or a circle of chairs. We think this is all real, but we're all just a bunch of patients in a mental hospital rehashing our experiences of our medication and how they make us feel. But yeah. Yeah, well, I might have been able to take them in my old day too. You know? Like I said, man, and a lot of people don't like to hear me talk about it because a lot of people don't believe in COVID. But that shit, man, I'm telling you, like, for some reason, it fucking hit me like a ton of bricks. Ton of bricks. Yeah, Kenneth, there was, but I got rid of him. You know, just that same guy that wants me to, you know, wants me to rip the frame off his anal cavity. The guy who wants me to rip the frame rip the sphincter up out of his anal cavity, who's obsessed with this channel, took your name, was speaking ill will with it. Hell yeah, it was pathetic, DC. It was all bad, that whole thing, man. And he's still up in his mind, you know what I mean? It's harder on some than others. Shit's crazy. Yeah, hey, you guys don't realize, but it almost, and I'm telling you, this is the truth. A lot of people like to call me a liar all the time or whatever, but dude, that shit almost fucking killed me. It almost killed me. The only reason why I didn't go to the hospital, of which if I would have went to the hospital, I would have been admitted right into that hospital. I've been looking at all these outrageous bills and everything else, right? The only reason why I didn't go to the hospital when I was at my worst, and I told people, there were people that were like ready to just like call the ambulance and stuff, like call 911 and all that shit, and have them take me against my will. I was that sick a couple of times. And there were times where I thought I was going to die. Like I was laying in my bed, but I felt that the best place for me to die, if I'm going to die, I got people that are constantly coming by. They're looking at me, they're calling me, and they're instructed that the minute I become incoherent, that you can go ahead and take me to the hospital because I'm probably not going to make it through this. I had to completely update all my insurance, my life insurance and stuff like that I have, to make sure that the beneficiaries are all up to date. I had to set up my banking and my accounts and everything with a beneficiary on it so that my family can take all the money and use it for whatever they need to use it for, my savings and whatnot, monies that I've accumulated, my stocks, whatever, cryptocurrencies, all that stuff. I got beneficiaries set up on all that. I had a will and testament for this channel of who would take over this channel, who would have it after I was gone, you know? And I was going to put somebody, designate them as the figurehead and the custodian of Prison Break Raw, and to either take on the challenge himself or to find somebody to fill the seat, and or even sell the channel to somebody that wants a YouTube channel in this genre with a whole bunch of already subscribers, where they could sell the channel and use the money for some kind of charity or something like that. I went through all that stuff. You guys don't even realize. You know what I mean? And I honestly, like, I thought that I was going to drop. I did. And that's real talk, guys. I thought I was going to die, but I felt that I would rather die in my own bed than to die in a plastic fucking bubble in the hospital where I can't even say goodbye to my family because they won't even let them in there when you're dying of this shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Loked Out TV would probably be. You'd probably get paid according to how many subscribers you got. I mean, I got over 23,000 subscribers. you'd probably be able to get quite a few subscribers out of that. And by changing the whole face and changing the name of the channel and doing all that stuff, you would lose some subscribers. Some people that were, with the PBR brand, they just can't. When somebody changes, you just can't, like the new James Bond, when it was originally like whoever it was, I don't remember who the original James Bond was, but whenever they changed them, some people tuned out. Loked Out TV, thank you. You were actually, hey, Loked Out TV, real talk. It's funny that you're here because you were actually, to my boy that was going to be the steward or the custodian of this channel upon my death, you were actually one of the names that was mentioned to run this show, to be the new face of Prison Break Raw. Also, he doesn't know this, and I don't know if he's even still on here. Somebody else that I know who's a sarcastic smartass and has a sense of humor after my own heart, which is Cella Life, Wino. We were actually thinking about turning the channel over to him. You know what I'm saying? Actually turn it over to him and let him be the new face of well, I don't know, Dopey. I never thought that you'd want to become a YouTuber, and I never for a million years thought that Kenneth would want to become a YouTuber either. But if you guys know who Wino is, Cella Life, you'll know that like he has the optics. He has all the optics that a lot of these people cream their panties over, with all the tattoos, and he's stocky dude, built dude. He's got a good sense of humor. He talks shit. He's not afraid to speak his mind. He would have been an excellent new host of this channel right here. He would have done it, man. I think he would have done a good job. No, I know it wouldn't be the same to have somebody else. But if I'm dead, then I'm dead. There's really nothing I could do about it. But yeah, people could think that I was bullshitting or whatever, but I was right here. I was right here ready to die in my own bed with my cat right there. And that was that, Because honestly, guys, like if you get COVID like real bad, you get a real bad strand of it, and you're in the hospital and you're fighting for your life. There's nothing that they can give you in this hospital that's going to save your life. You just either pull through or you don't. There's no like antibiotic or anything that'll treat it. Did I ever end up getting the vaccine? I have not gotten the vaccine yet. But then again, they were telling me that they weren't going to give me the vaccine until I'm like 3 months out of this or some shit. I don't forget what they were telling me. Then again, I don't know, man. Intubation kills people. Yeah, I mean, they're. Yeah, I mean, Outlaw Barber, that's pretty true. But I don't know if you know this or not, but people like my sister got COVID twice. I know a couple other people that have gotten COVID more than once. There's also this violent, vicious strand of COVID that's running around out there that I'm sure you guys have heard of. One that's like vicious. I mean, it's deadly. And it could have been that I ended up getting that strand. You never know. But like I said, here I am. I'm like almost what? I'm not even 2 months into when I was first diagnosed with it. And I'm still tired as fuck. Chronic fatigue. You know, a lot of you guys, you know, you see me, you catch me in the DMs, you catch me on social media, on Instagram or Facebook. And I try to communicate with you guys as much as I can, but usually when I'm of the last couple of months, when I am communicating with people on in DMs, I'm usually like laying in bed and I'm starting to like get wheezy and stuff, or fatigued and starting to fall out. Hey, before you bounce, Clown Lope, how would that have made you feel, man, if you became the new host of this show? Would you change the name? Would you keep it the same? Would you keep the same attitude and all that stuff? Would you do it the same way, or would you change it all up? No, Rodney, I ain't going nowhere now, you know. I ain't going nowhere now. Soy tu padre, do I feel it in my lung capacity? Yes. Yes, very much so. Like I went grocery shopping 2 weeks ago, right? And I bought stuff that did like, because I got all these prepared meals all thought out in my head and everything. I went and bought shit that would last me 2 weeks. Taking all that stuff into my house, felt like I did like 100 burpees. Matthew, you live in the same city. You live in the same city with that guy. I see you, Matthew. I see your workout videos, and so I'm assuming that's you. It's on my IG that has those workout videos where you squatting like a lot of weight, bro. And I gotta tell you, man, I commend you for that. I commend you for staying humble with your working out and everything as well. Yeah, Rodney, you lay down on your back, you put your feet up on the wall, like if you're sitting in a chair but you're laying down, and you blow into a balloon, like you say 3 times, like eventually you get up to like, you get up to like 9 times you do it at some point. And it actually develops your lung capacity. It makes your lungs stronger. I'm working on that right now because I don't like being out of breath. I just don't like the way it feels. I don't like that constantly have to catch my breath for practically doing nothing. The kind of work that I do, if I don't have my lungs, I'm fucked. Your lungs and your legs. You got to have both of those things. You know what I mean? I'm not so completely convinced that that's who it is, Kenneth. We talked about all that earlier, though. I'm not going to address it again, but before you got on here, we talked about what's up with these people, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Trying to pull through it, my man. Yeah, peanut butter, I definitely am getting old. I mean, I ain't going to lie. You know, I've had a couple of cousins of mine tell me when they seen pictures of me like, damn, man, you look old. And I'm like, well, because I'm old. I mean, fuck, I'm 47 years old already. But you know how like a lot of yous have told me to like pay no attention to these people that are in here. You know, and I really don't, because like I said, they're never a thought in my mind when I'm the only time that I ever talk about any of this stuff is when I'm talking to one of you guys that are on here right now on the phone or something like that. We'll talk about it, obviously, because I met you guys through YouTube and you know, a lot of ways we're connected through YouTube. So YouTube issues, just like whoever my buddies are at work, when we're at work, we talk about work. Or if we out here in the streets, then we talk about the streets, you know? But you can't help but to point out the obvious is, like I said, that this person, whoever it is, has such a sexual love-hate thing going on with me that it's quite disturbing. I'm pretty sure he has an altar and a shrine of me in his house somewhere where he sits there in his little dun-dun-duns with his thumb in his mouth, looking at my picture, playing Celine Dion music in the background, wishing that he can spoon with me, you know? Some of these people, like I said, they're so caught up in this social media world that they have failed to see real life from fantasy life, which is social media. So there's a lot of fantasy, phony, baloney bullshit with a lot of these people. And yeah. Yeah, John Dillinger, there's some very, very bizarre, troubling and disturbed people that live in social media. It's their whole life. You know, if the grid fucking suddenly went down and all the computers and smartphones and everything, all your devices, your iPads, your freaking notebooks, whatever you had, everything went down. The whole grid went down all over the whole world. Just think of what would happen to these people. It would be like a heroin addict that was on a sick one for fucking 18 straight years. You just pulled him off the streets and stuck him straight in a jail cell to quit cold turkey. Think of how bad he would kick. That's how bad these people would kick. They would literally be balled up in the ground crying in a pile of their own feces and their own urine if the grid ever went down and they had no way to communicate and to continue on with this life of theirs on social media of trying to make people feel as miserable as them because they can't, like a lot of these people that are big in this stuff, a lot of these trolls and shit like that, let me tell you what they are. They're people that don't make it in real life. You know, if they have dedicated this much time to go out and do all the things that they do, they don't have any kind, they can't effectively manage their lives off of here. It's like the guy that's in prison. He's got all the shit, he's got all the connections. He lives a good life in prison. When he gets out, he can't make it out of the homeless shelter. It's the same kind of thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, it takes your wind, dopey. That COVID shit will take your wind and it'll keep it. I've been talking to some people. Hey, what's up, Haps? What's cracking, my boy? I was talking to some people that they got COVID early on when it first started coming out, and they still can't breathe right. My sister still can't breathe right, and she had it months ago. Yep, think 25 years ago, payphones and pocketbooks. You definitely right about that. Like we didn't have to live in this manufactured social media world. You were either, you knew who everybody was, you know? When you were on the schoolyard, you knew who everybody was. And you had the G's, you had the jocks, the hoes, the people that were all into the cars, the band geeks, the nerds, all that stuff. Nowadays, you got all the wannabes that are in social media that have manufactured this dark and anonymous presence of talking shit and bumping their gums, but you know damn well these people wouldn't say fucking 2 words to you if you were in their face. They'd be calling the cops. Calling the cops. Hey, people still tell me that I'm lying, that I never had COVID. And I told them, if you want to see the lab results, get at me on in a DM on IG. I'll show it to you. I'll show you my lab results. It said I had it. And when I got it, like, I was supposed to go to work that day, and I woke up and I had a fever. I didn't have a thermometer at that time, but I knew I was burning up hot. My bed was hot where I was laying. I felt like my face was all flushed and everything. And that was where it started. And then I got this cough that I just could not get rid of. Like, I just kept constantly coughing to where I was getting lightheaded. And then the fatigue. The fatigue hit me, and it never stopped. Like, I could sleep for 20 straight hours, wake up for 15, 20 minutes, and go back to sleep for another 10. That's how bad it was. Yeah, in DC, it's like I said, people were trying to get on here and tell me, oh, well, you said COVID wasn't real. And I said, no, I never said COVID is not real. That is a lie. I actually done videos that said that I believe that it's a biological weapon. That I believe. I don't believe it was just it came up out of some bat's asshole and landed in some fish meat, and now everybody's got this. I don't believe that it's like that. I believe that it is definitely a manufactured virus. Luis, you have too much dead air time. Probably some music when you're not ready to broadcast. Oh, you talking about in the very beginning? Yeah, probably. I'm looking at a lot of comments you guys are shooting me right now. It seems to be like that there's a very long delay going on. Well, General Flynn confirmed that today. Makes sense. Can you imagine being dope sick and getting COVID? Well, ask George Floyd that question. He had COVID and he was dope sick. John McHugh, thank you for that. Gino says the BLM leader resigned. Well, I mean, they don't have to run that organization anymore. They made all their money. Yeah, Ms. Evie, you're probably right. A knee to the back of your neck when you just swallowed a whole bunch of drugs and you're already fucking scared as fuck, and you got COVID on top of that and some other health issues. Yeah, a lot of those things, and combined with having a knee jammed into your back, it would probably kill you. Yes. But I could tell you that I've been in that same position with the cops multiple times, because I was always a runner. I was always a fighter. It's in my record, man. I'm considered to be, caution, assaultive behavior towards law enforcement is what they always used to say, which is not really true and it's not really fair. But I'm just saying that if I'm running and I'm trying to get away from you, and you catch up to me and you grab me, then yeah, I'm probably going to turn around and crack you. Whether you're a cop or you're not a cop, it doesn't matter. That's just your instincts kick in. But like, I don't make it a point to go out there and fight cops. But when I'm like running from you and trying to get away, then yeah, chances are I'm gonna, like, if you don't draw down on me, like a lot of them will do. Like back in those days, you had a lot of them cops They'll just pull out their gun and they'll shoot over your head, or they'll shoot in the air, and you'll stop. When you got all them Berettas pointed at you and them Rugers, you're gonna stop, man. I don't care who you are. I mean, a lot of these people are running nowadays. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, Evie, we know, and your father's in my prayers and the prayers of some of the others that are out here, especially now that you've brought that to the light. I don't even know, what did the BLM leader do? Oh yeah, she bought all them. Oh, I knew about all that. You guys have to understand that BLM is a big giant scam. You know, it's a big scam. It's just like any other social political movement. They don't care about you, the people. They're not designed to care. They found an opportunity, they found a need, and they filled it in order to generate mass amounts of revenue for themselves. It's just like any other social movement. Nobody gives a shit about what they're talking about. Like, they don't care if cops stop killing unarmed black men or not. They don't care if you defund the police or not. They don't care about any of that. The longer this drama continues to go on, the more money they make. So they would rather have it to continue to go on. They would rather have it continue moving forward at the same rate that it's always been moving at, because really most of these people don't care, and most of these people have no solutions to solving any of these problems. You ask them, well, what's the solution to racism? What's your solution to it? You just want everybody to be silenced and a muzzle put on them to where they can't say anything at all? Or so you think that your solution is, like, of course, let's say, for example, you want to make it more diverse in the workplace. So you got 5 positions that are specialty positions that are operating this nuclear reactor in your city. Okay? Do you really want them to pick people according to diversity? You got one trans man, trans woman, one Muslim, one African American, one Native American, Hispanic, and all that. Do you want it to be like that in a situation like it's a nuclear reactor? Or do you want the best of the best to be running that reactor? Because if that motherfucker blows up, that whole city's going with it. You know, what would you guys like to have in that situation? So that's how I try to look at you guys must be like hella delayed on this video. Because Dopey, we stopped talking about that a long time ago, man. This is becoming pretty weird right now, guys. You guys are like starting to like give me this Twilight Zone vibe. You guys are throwing comments out there about stuff we talked about like an hour ago. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you're hearing me say this right now. Let me try something else. All right. All right, so you guys are seeing me like, It just seems like some of you guys are like watching. Are you watching me in like the rerun? Do they have that ability? Can you watch shit in the rerun as it's still being put out live? Can you go back in time and look at what I said before now? Chris Abbott, your thumbs up gets recognized as being the best that I've ever seen as far as a thumbs up is concerned. A middle finger. That's a thumbs up after Big JD's own heart. Chris Abbott, send me your mailing information to my Instagram so that I can send you a Prison Break Raw souvenir. Make sure you do that. I'm going to send you a PBR souvenir. Yep. You guys want to talk about the thumbs up? I'll give you 2 middle fingers up. Every time. Yeah, it's buffered twice. I got that. No, Anthony Spinella, this is actually like, this is really good internet that I got. It's just that there's certain like peak times of YouTube where like there's certain times of the day that if I got a 20-minute video or a 15-minute video, it might only take like about 30 minutes to upload. There's other times of the day that it will take like literally like an hour, 2 hours to upload. But anyways, guys, look at it's approaching it's actually 11 p.m. over here. And Grandpa needs to take another nap. Yeah, I've been eating a lot of oranges, bananas, probiotics, all that stuff. Well, Hot Rod, shout out to California. I'm a commie boy myself, or Cali boy, born and raised. Finally moved out of that state for good in 2012, and well, of course, I've been doing a bunch of time after that, and haven't been back there since. Yep, it's time for Grandpa to go to bed, guys. Time for me to take my Geritol's, put my pajamas on, and climb up into my bed and sleep for God knows how many hours. Whole shitload, probably. Yeah, 12 a.m. over there. You're right. Well, once again, guys, much love. This was a damn good and long live. But I needed it. As I've said it before, you guys are like therapy for me. In a lot of ways, this channel, this live, and I've explained it to people over and over and over again that this live is where I'm at my most arrogant and sarcastic. This is the this is the part of PBR where I talk shit, where I clown people, all of that shit. And yeah. This is the channel where we call a lot of this weirdness out that goes on around here, a lot of this negativity and everything. We make fun of it. We put people on notice. We put skinny pants gangsters on notice around here. This just happens, you know what I mean? E-thug. I don't know if you can call me an e-thug. I'm just a person that just speaks his mind, man. I speak my mind, and that's what it is. And I tell you about whatever I'm feeling, or we talk about things that are relevant. We talk shit. We talk shit. But yeah, Chris Abbott, get at me on Instagram. Send me your mailing location, and I will send you a PBR gift. Just for saying thank you for giving me the thumbs up that I love to see. A good middle. It's always a good number one for me. Living the Square Life was cracking, man. You missed the end of the show. Brittany's yoga pants, putting Brittany's yoga pants on notice. And with that one right there, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. You guys have a great night. I'm out.